Sir, very happy morning to all. Sir, this is TDS revision, a very quick recap of the chapter TDS. We all know that chapter TDS has been classified into 9 categories. Number 1, TDS on salary. Tell me TDS on? TDS on brokerage or commission. TDS on immovable property. TDS on interest or dividend. TDS on contract. TDS on casual income, TDS on non-resident, TDS on others and procedural aspects, TDS on salary. Sir, basically 3 sections are there. Section 192, 192A, 194F. Tell me what are 3 sections? 192, 192A. TDS on brokerage or commission, 3 sections are there. 194D, 194G, 194H. Tell me 194D, 194G. TDS on immovable property, 5 sections are there. 194I, 194IA, 194IB, 194IC, 194LA. 194I, 194IA, 194IB, 194IC, 194. TDS on interest or dividend, 193, 194, 194A, 194K. TDS on contract, 2 sections are there. 194C, 194M. TDS on casual income, 2 sections are there. 194B, 194BB. TDS on non-resident, 194E and 195. TDS on others, 194DA, 194J, 194N, 194O, 194P, 194Q. And we are having procedural aspects. Okay, fine. TDS on salary. What are the 3 sections? 192, 192A, 194F. 192 is TDS on salary. 192 is on. For example, 2 parties are there, my dear lovable students. One is employer and employee. Sir, employer is there. Employee is there. Employer has to pay salary income to the employee. It's an expense to the employer and income to the employee. In order to debit that as an expense in the profit and loss account, what Income Tax Act is saying that employer has to deduct TDS under section 190. So 192 is TDS on salary. Sir, 192A, accumulated balance in provident fund account. For an employee, various provident fund will be there. Recognized provident fund will be there. Statutory provident fund will be there. Public provident fund will be there. Unrecognized provident fund will be there. So employer will also contribute that provident fund, and also employee will also contribute to that provident fund. If the employee is not withdrawing money for a period of 5 years from that provident fund, that income will be exempted in the hands of the employee. But within the period of how much years? 5 years. If the employee is withdrawing the money from the provident fund account, that will be treated as income in the hands of the employee. So that provident fund authority or the provident fund trust has to deduct TDS under section 192A. Generally in class we used to say that A stands for accumulated balance in, and 194F, repurchase of units by mutual fund or what? UTI. If, sir, mutual fund or UTI is repurchasing their units, TDS has to be deducted. So with regard to salary, 3 sections are there. 192, 192A and 194. Sir, if you see the provisions in details, this is what, sir, 192 provision. Income covered. What are the income covered for 192? Income chargeable under the head what? Salary. So the income should be taxable under the head salary. So there are 5 heads of incomes. Income from salary, house property, PGBP, capital gain and IFRS. If an employer is making any payment to an employee, if that income is going to be taxed in the hands of the employee under the head salaries, for that income, TDS has to be deducted under section 192. For 192A, premature withdrawal from the employee's what account? Provident fund account. On what amount TDS has to be deducted? Payment of what balance? Accumulated balance. That means in the provident fund account, both employer and employee will be depositing the money. So the amount will be accumulated in the provident fund account. On that accumulated balance, TDS has to be deducted. Sir, 194F, payment on account of repurchase of units under 80 CCB subsection 2. How we are having 80C, 80C, CC? If the units or mutual fund is repurchasing their units under 80 CCB subsection 2, TDS has to be deducted. Now the next question, big question arises. Okay, fine. On what income TDS has to be deducted, we understood. Now, who is the person who are responsible for deduction of TDS? Sir, employer will only make the payment to the employee. So any person responsible for paying what? Salary. If you are an employer, sir, you will be making salary to the employee. Employer is liable to deduct TDS under section 192. Now, the trustees of the EPF or the person authorized under scheme to make payment of what balance? Accumulated balance. In the provident fund account, my dear lovable students, the trustees of that PF account will be there. They are the authority, because that provident fund account also would have been started like a trust. Like a trust. So if the employee is withdrawing money from the provident fund account, which is premature withdrawal, which is within how much years? 5 years, the trustees of the EPF account, employee provident fund account, is entitled to deduct TDS. Next one, 194, any person to any person, let it be any person to any person, they are liable to deduct TDS. Sir, always in TDS, you have to understand one thing. Is there any threshold limit? Because, for example, in GST, we know that if the aggregate turnover exceed 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 40 lakh, only you are liable to take the registration. Sir, in DT, only if the basic exemption limit exceed either the default tax regime or the optional tax regime, then only you are liable to take the, sir, liable to pay the tax. The same way, this TDS is based upon some threshold limit. Somewhat threshold limit. For salary, basic exemption limit is the what limit? Threshold limit. If the total salary what the employer is paying to the employee exceeds the threshold limit, then only the employer is liable to deduct TDS. Here, 192A, premature withdrawal from the employee's what account? Provident fund account. Aggregate payment is less than how much? 50,000. If it is less than 50,000, no need to deduct what? TDS. So the threshold limit is 50,000. Once it is 50,000 or above, the trustees of the EPF account is entitled to deduct what? TDS. Fine, fantastic to the core. Sir, premature withdrawal from the employee provident fund account is there, right? If an employee is withdrawing money from the provident fund account within 5 years, it will be treated as income in the hands of the employee, surely under the head what? Salaries. Because the deduction have been claimed under the head salary. If you are, sir, putting amount in the PF account, 80C deduction will be claimed. Right, sir? So, my dear lovable students, we all know that under the head salary, there is a statutory limit or the standard deduction of 50,000 is there. So, if they are withdrawing up to 50,000, anyway, they will be claiming the standard deduction. But if it is exceeding 50,000, TDS has to be deducted. So, aggregate payment is less than 50,000 means no need to deduct TDS. Otherwise, TDS has to be deducted. Here, there is no question of what at all. Now, what is the rate? That is the next question to be answered with regard to TDS. Average of income tax computed on the basis of rate in force for the financial year. We know how to compute the average of income tax. In double taxation avoidance agreement and all, we have studied the average rate of tax, which is nothing but the tax payable divided by total income into 100. The same way you have to calculate the average rate of tax. That means there is no specific rate has been mentioned for 192. Here it is 10%, sir. If the PAN not furnished, then MMR, maximum marginal rate. Generally, we will deduct TDS at 10%. But if the employee is not furnishing the PAN, then we will deduct TDS at MMR. Sir, in case of repurchase of units by mutual fund or UTI, we will deduct TDS at how much percent? 20%. What is the time of deduction? Sir, this family is called as salary family. Salary family, the person who are responsible for deducting TDS are liable to deduct TDS at the time of payment. At the time of payment. At the time of payment. Are you all really with me? So, with regard to TDS, let you take any section, my dear lovable students, whether it is 192 or 192A or 194F. The first thing you have to understand is the income covered. First thing you have to understand is that on what income I am going to deduct the TDS. The number 2 is the persons covered. Number 2 is what? Persons covered. So, first one is what? Income. On what income I am going to deduct the TDS. Number 2, second one is what? Persons covered. Number three things are there. Threshold limit. What limit? Four things are there. Rate. What is the rate? What is the fifth one? What is the time of what deduction? Tax deduction. On what time we are supposed to deduct the TDS? If you take any section, if you are clear with these five things, my dear lovable students, your TDS study comes to an end. So, what is section 192? TDS on salary. What is 192A? Accumulated balance in the provident fund account. What is 194F? Repurchase of units by mutual fund account. Sir, I'm moving into the next family called as interest on brokerage or commission, 194D, 194G, and 194H. 194D is insurance commission. 194D is what? 194G is lottery commission. 194G is 194H is brokerage or commission. 194H is 194D insurance commission. 194D. So two parties should be there. One is insurance company is there and insurance agent is there. Insurance company is there and insurance agent is there. Sir, if any insurance agent is providing services to the insurance company, sir, insurance company is the person liable to pay tax at RCM. Yes, sir? Yes, sir. Here, now that insurance company is liable to pay commission to the insurance agent. So that insurance company will debit that as an expense in their what account? P&L account. In order to claim it as an expense, they have to deduct what? TDS. So income covered. Commission or otherwise for soliciting or procuring what business? Insurance business. Insurance business. So commission or otherwise for soliciting or procuring insurance business. So on what income TDS has to be deducted? For that transaction, understand, insurance company will be there and insurance agent will be there. Insurance company will pay commission to the insurance agent. It's an expense to the insurance company and income to the insurance agent. So insurance company is supposed to what? Deduct what? TDS. Sir, 194G, lottery or commission, income like stocking, distributing, purchasing or selling what ticket? Lottery ticket. Any income by way of commission, remuneration or what? The same way, if you are a lottery agent, the lottery companies will pay commission to the what agent? Lottery agent. For what purpose? For stocking, distributing the lottery, purchasing or selling the lottery, any income by way of commission, remuneration or what? Price. The lottery company has to deduct what? TDS, because it's an expense to the lottery company and income to the lottery agent. The next one is, sir, let it be not be specific to insurance commission or lottery commission. Any brokerage or commission. Any brokerage or commission not being what commission? Insurance commission. If I am a businessman, if I am running, sir, business of A&M classes, if I am paying commission to any person, it's an expense to the business. For that, I am supposed to deduct TDS under section 194. So there are three types of brokerage or commission are there. One is insurance commission, other is lottery commission, and the third one is general brokerage and commission. Who will pay? Understand the transaction. Two parties will be there. Insurance company will be there, insurance agent will be there. Insurance company will make the payment to the insurance agent. Sir, lottery company will make the payment to the lottery agent. And the next one, any person may make the payment to the, sir, agent. That agent may not be insurance agent or lottery agent. The next one, who is the person responsible for deducting TDS? Any person paying to a resident. Any person paying to a resident. Insurance company, let it be any person. Because that any person in the sense means that insurance company may be individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, AJP. Sir, let it be any person. Let it be any person who are making payment to a resident. Sir, it is not non-resident because non-resident 195 provisions will be applicable. Any person who is responsible for paying to any person to any person. That means the payer may be any person and recipient also any person. That means the recipient may be resident and what resident? Non-resident. Resident and non-resident. Because this is what commission? Lottery commission. Lottery is a casual income. Are you all really with me? So, let the recipient be a resident or non-resident, whatever it may be. Here 194H, any person other than specified individual or HUF paying to a resident. Other than specified individual or HUF to a non-resident, to a resident. That means there is a concept called as specified individual. I will tell you what is specified individual or HUF? Specified individual or HUF. Listen carefully, very important part. I'll be repeating various places. Okay. Sir, 194H, 194I, 194J, 194A, and 194C. This and 194R. This is called as hijacker. This is called as what? Hijacker. Okay. With regard to this section, hijacker, first understand 194H is brokerage or commission. 194I is rent. 194J is fees for professional or technical services. 194A is interest other than interest on securities. 194C is payment to contractor or subcontractor. 194R is perquisite. Perquisite. Sir, if you are making payment under these sections, for example, 194H is brokerage or commission. If you are paying brokerage or commission to any person, to a resident basically, to a resident, right? Or 194I, you are making rent to a resident. 194J, fees for professional technical services. 194A, interest other than interest on securities. And 194C, payment to contractor or subcontractor. And 194R, perquisite. Perquisite. My dear lovable students, hello. What act is saying that if you are individual or HUF, you tell me individual or HUF is a strong person or a weak person? Weak person. Individual or HUF is a weak person. Individual or HUF is a weak person. Right, sir? My dear lovable students, this individual or what? HUF is making payment of hijacker. Hijacker. For this individual or HUF, two conditions are there. Sir, is every individual or HUF is weak, sir? No, sir. We can say like that, sir. Individual or HUF, sir, whose turnover, I cannot say that aggregate turnover, I will say that only what? Turnover. Instead of aggregate turnover, I will use the word what? Turnover. In the immediately preceding previous year, does not exceed 1 crore in case of business and 50 lakhs in case of profession. That means I am an individual, sir. I am an HUF, sir. In my immediately preceding previous year, my turnover does not exceed 1 crore or that means basically I am not subjected to tax audit under 44AB. I am not subject to tax audit under. I am doing a business. My business, sir, it's not even crossed the threshold limit for doing the tax audit under what AB. These people are called as small individual or HUF, which are chotawala. Which are chotawala. Are you all really with me? For this chotawala, what act is saying that they are not liable to deduct TDS for hijacker. 194H, 194I, 194J, 194A, and 194. See, even though they paid some amount under this section, and if that amount exceeds the threshold limit, still they are not liable to deduct TDS. If they don't deduct TDS also, 30% of the disallowance and 100% of the disallowance will not be applicable. Anyway, in this list, 100% is not there because all these are section resident section, not what? Non-resident section. So we can stress that 30% deduction disallowance under PGBP will not be applicable. Sir, but I am an individual, sir. I am an individual, Adani, Ambani, sir. Sir, I am also conducting business or profession. But in the, sir, immediately preceding previous year, my turnover exceeds 1 crore in case of business and exceeds 50 lakhs in case of what? Profession. 50 lakhs in case of profession. 50 lakhs in case of profession. You tell me whether I'm a small businessman, big businessman. Chotawala, badawala. Badawala. Then if I am badawala, you tell me, can I follow the procedural aspects? Yes, sir. Why can't you follow the procedural aspects? You can follow the procedural aspects. You can file the return because last year you went to a auditor and you have conducted the what audit, tax audit under section 44 AB. So for you last year 44 AB is applicable means you are having some standard. You don't say that I'm weak again. You are not weak person. You are one of the strong person. Then you follow all the procedural act of the Income Tax Act. That means for you, the hijacker benefit will not be applicable. This hijacker is a benefit actually to an individual or HUF whose turnover in the immediately preceding previous year does not exceed 1.5 crores or 1 crore or 50 lakhs as the case may be. Nothing, man. I'm taking but composition levy for regular class. That's why. So, my turnover does not exceed 1 crore or 50 lakhs as the case may be, then I am not liable to deduct what? TDS. But my dear lovable students, if in the immediately preceding previous year, if I am subject to tax audit, means still I can't say that I am a chota wala, I become a bada wala, then I can follow all the procedural aspects. So hence I am liable to deduct what also? TDS also. So if you see this section, now we will check. Sir, hijacker. Hijacker. H stands for brokerage or commission. You see, any person other than specified what or what. So if you are a specified what individual chief, what is specified individual chief? Chota wala. Chota wala. If you are chota wala, you are not liable to deduct what? TDS. That's why any person other than specified individual chief. So paying to a what? Resident. Paying to a resident. Okay, fine, fantastic. Shall I go and check I concept? I concept. Sir, go to 194I, my dear lovable students. If you go to 194I, you can see that any person other than specified what? Individual or HUF. That means again HIJACR. What is the shortcut? Hijacker. In that H over, I over. Shall I move to J, sir? Yes, sir. Please come to J and check, sir. 194J. 194J. It will be in others, no? TDS on others, no? Yes, sir. 1 second, I'm coming there. After non-resident, yes, TDS on others. If you see here, any person not being specified individual or HUF, so I have satisfied HIJACR. So H I shown, I shown, J I shown. Shall we move to the 194, what? A, which will be in the brokerage or commission? Interest or dividend. Fourth one. So this family, it will be there. You just check here. 194 what? A. Any person other than specified what or what? Individual or HUF. That means H, I, J, A is over. Shall we come to C, man? That is TDS on contract and or subcontractor. 194C. Sir, person responsible, any specified person paying to a resident contractor. What is that specified person? A person other than individual or HUF. Right, man? Yes, sir. The next one, H, I, J, A, C, and R. What is R? Perquisite. Perquisite. It will be there in the last one, I think. TDS on others. Page number 398. You have to go below. Yes. So any person not being specified individual or what? HUF. That means what? Hijacker is the code. 194H, 194I, 194J, 194A, 194C, and 194R. For this section, my dear lovable students, if the assessee is individual or HUF and whose turnover in the immediately preceding previous year does not exceed 1 crore in case of business or 50 lakhs in case of profession, hijacker sections will not be. Because you are a chota wala. But if you are a bada wala, this, sir, benefit concession will not be applicable. Why I have done the entire section in one slot is, whenever I am reading there, confusion should not be there. Shall I proceed, sir? Yes, sir. So, person responsible for deducting TDS. And understand one thing, man. Every section, the recipient should be a resident. Recipient should be a resident. If the recipient is non-resident TDS provisions will be applicable. These all are resident TDS provisions. These all are resident TDS provisions. These all are, but we got one exception. One is lottery income, lottery agent. If the lottery agent may be a resident or non-resident, till now only we are having that exception. What is the threshold limit, sir? Aggregate limit during the previous year is less than or equal to how much rupees? 15,000. So who are you? You are an insurance company. Insurance company has to pay insurance commission to the insurance agent. How much rupees, man? Sir, if it is equal to 15,000, don't deduct TDS. If the amount exceeds 50,000, then you are liable to deduct TDS. Aggregate amount during the financial year less than or equal to how much? 15,000. Aggregate amount during the financial year less than or equal to how much? 15,000. That means super, sir. Fantastic, sir. Commission itself means what is the threshold limit? 15,000 is the threshold limit. If it exceeds 50,000, TDS has to be deducted. If it is exactly equal to 15,000, no need to deduct TDS. What is the rate, man? 5%, 5%, 5%. Commission means how much percent? 5%. Commission means how much percent? What is the time of deduction, man? At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Are you all really with me? So salary is a, sir, what family? Payment family. Salary, TDS on salary is there, no? 192, 192A and 194F is a payment family. But commission, brokerage or commission is at the time of payment or at the time of credit, whichever is earlier. At the time of payment or at the time of credit, whichever is earlier. For example, I am an insurance company. I just put an entry, journal entry that, sir, insurance commission account debit to insurance commission payable. At that moment, I am liable to deduct what? TDS. Hello, sir. Because at the time of credit, if I am crediting that amount in the dash of account itself, books of accounts itself, I am liable to pay the TDS. I am liable to deduct the TDS. Either at the time of payment or at the time of credit, whichever is. But salary, sir, you are supposed to deduct the TDS only if you make the payment. Only if you, I just made entry in the what of accounts, books of accounts. Sir, don't deduct the what? TDS. Because you have not made the payment to the what? Employee. If you deduct the TDS, the employee has to offer it as an income. It will be a burden for whom? Employee. Sir, employee will be living with this money only. Once you deduct the TDS, my dear lovable students, hello? Yes, sir. It will create a burden to the what? Employee. So what act is saying that when you make the payment, deduct TDS and give the payment to him. Sir, accumulated balance in what account? Provident fund account. They will not put any entry for credit or due and all. When the employee withdraws from that fund, then only, sir, they themselves know that the employee has withdrawn the amount. That's why at the time of payment. Here, mutual fund account repurchase. When you repurchase only, they will know that, okay, payment gone. But this, sir, commissions and all are all business payments. Brokerage or commission, insurance company may put some dummy entry. Lottery company may put some dummy entry. Any other businessman may put some what entry? Dummy entry. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is what? Earlier. Are you really with me? So this is the time of deduction of TDS. This is what brokerage or commissions are. So this is what hijack section. Hijack, it's not hijack now, it is hijacker. 194H, brokerage or commission. 194I, rent. 194J, fees for professional or technical services. 194A, interest other than interest on securities. And 194C, payment to contractor. So two families we have done. Number one is TDS on what? Salary. Number two is what? TDS on brokerage or commission. Next one, very important, man, sir, TDS on immovable property. Assume there is an immovable property. That immovable property, you what and all you can do, you can give that immovable property for rent. For rent. So you may get what? Rent. That rent will be taxable under income from house property. So under 192, we have talked about what, man? Income from salary. Are you all really with me? Sir, that 192 salary is applicable to both resident and non-resident. Resident and, if you are making salary to resident or non-resident, TDS has to be deducted under what section? 192. So that's why 192, because it is applicable to both resident and what resident? Non-resident. 192A, accumulated balance in provident fund account. Are you really with me? Coming to, sir, rent. That means there is a immovable property, man. For that immovable property, you are paying rent. Any income by way of rent. For example, A&M classes is there. This building is not our building. We have taken this building for what? Rent. We are making payment of rent to the landlord. Hello, sir. It's an expense to the A&M classes. It's an income to the landlord. So he will not declare it as an income. So we have to deduct what? TDS. That's what 194I. Any income by way of what? Rent. Who is supposed to deduct TDS? Any person. Let it be any person. Individual, HUF, AOP, BOI, sir, AJP. Let it be any person. Other than specified individual or HUF. Because, sir, the hijacker benefit will be enjoyed to individual or HUF. Paying to a what? Resident. My dear lovable students, all section the recipient should be what? Resident. All section the recipient should be what? What is the threshold limit? Aggregate amount during the previous year does not exceed what? 2,40,000. So up to 2,40,000 rupees, you are not liable to deduct what? TDS. So the threshold limit under 194I is 2 lakh. Rate. What is the rate? Sir, for plant and machinery, it is 2%. For plant and machinery, it is. So if you have taken plant and machinery for rent, it is how much percent? 2%. Land and building, how much percent? And furniture and fittings, also 10%. That means very simple. Plant and machinery and equipment, 2%. Land and building, 10%. Furniture and fitting, 10. This is the rate in which you are supposed to deduct the TDS. What is the time of deduction of TDS? At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. At the time of credit, at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Okay, fine. Understand, logically understand. 194I rent, for what it will be applicable? What is the income you are making the payment? Rent you are making the payment. Who is supposed to deduct TDS? Any person other than specified individual or HUF. What is the threshold limit? 2,40,000. Sir, if you have taken, sir, rent, plant and machinery, 2%. Land and building, furniture and fitting, sir, at the time of credit or at the time of payment. Okay, man, super, sir. So, actually, this 194I is applicable to income from house property and IFOS, income from other sources. Because if you are renting land and building, the rent will be taxable under IFOS, IFHP, right, sir? But furniture and fittings alone, if you are renting, or plant and machinery alone, if you are renting, that will be taxable under what? IFOS. So this section 194I is a TDS section for income from house property and income from other source. Coming to 194IA, payment of transfer of immovable property other than what land? Agriculture land. This is applicable to capital gain. This is applicable to what? For example, you were having an immovable property. You were having a what property? You tell me, you are the owner of an immovable property. What and all you can do with that immovable property? Either you can give that immovable property for rent. Hello, sir. Or, my dear lovable students, you can sell this immovable property. That the another option. If you are selling the immovable property, surely you will get the full value of consideration. Right, sir? Assume that you are going to purchase an immovable property. You are going to purchase a, I am the seller. That means you have to make the payment to me. Right, sir? So, consideration being transfer of immovable property other than what land? Because agriculture land, rural agriculture land and urban agriculture land are there. If it is rural agriculture land, it is not at all a capital asset. Then why are you deducting what? TDS. If it is an, sir, urban agriculture land, you have to see whether it is compulsory acquisition or not. If that is the case, exemption is there. 54 exemption is there, urban agriculture land. And also section 10, under section 1037 exemption is there. So, these exemptions and all that don't deduct what? TDS for the agriculture land. So, my dear lovable students, consideration being transfer of what property? Immovable property other than what land? Agriculture land. Sir, any transferee, let it be any person, to any what transferor? Resident transferor. Resident transferor. That means the person who are selling the immovable property should be a resident. Hello, sir. Yes, sir. Total consideration and the stamp duty value of such property are both less than how much lakh? 50 lakh. Sir, the full value of consideration is less than 50 lakh and also the stamp duty value is also 50 lakh. Then don't deduct what? TDS. So it's a high value transaction. For a high value transaction, my dear lovable students, throughout the act, 50 lakhs they would have said. Then 1% of such sum or what duty value? Stamp duty value of the property, whichever is higher. 1%. Because since this is a very high value transaction, just deduct TDS at how much percent? 1%. So 1% of the such sum means consideration or stamp duty value of the property, whichever is what? Higher. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. So you are having an immovable property. Either you can rent that immovable property, and if you are paying rent more than 2,40,000 rupees, you are supposed to deduct TDS under section 194I. If you are selling that immovable property, if you are a resident, and if the consideration is more than 50 lakhs, then the TDS has to be deducted under 194IA. Both are at the time of payment or at the time of credit, whichever is. Now coming to 194IB. The same immovable property, my dear lovable students, same immovable property, you have rented to an individual or a chief. For example, sir, my name is A.N.M. I am from Kerala. You all know. I would have said at least one time in every video. Sir, I have taken one flat for rent in Chennai. The rent I am paying per month is 80,000 rupees, for example. So, any income by way of rent more than how much rupees per month? 50,000 per month. You tell me, it is my residential house. I have not taken that house for my business purpose. Business purpose, right, sir? It is for my residential purpose. But how much rent I am paying? 80,000. You should understand one thing. It may be personal for me, but the person who are getting the rent, it is a business income for him. Business income in the sense means IFHP income for him. There is a, sir, choice or way that he may hide that 80,000 rupees per month. So what government is saying that earlier when we introduced the TDS provision, we have asked you to deduct TDS only for the business payment. But sir, for the payer it may be business or non-business. But for the recipient, he started hiding the income. Even we want to, sir, any income by way of rent more than how much rupees per month? 50,000 per month. How much per month? So you are an individual or HUF. Any person being specified individual or HUF. What? This is brilliant. So I am a chota wala. If I am a chota wala, specified individual or what? HUF. Paying to what? Resident. Paying to what? Resident. So I should be a chota wala individual or HUF. I should be a chota wala individual or HUF. So I am an individual or HUF. Okay, fine. If I am an individual or HUF, my dear lovable students, this comparison you should be having. Comparison between 194I and 194IB. Sir, section 194I and 194IB, 194I is what? Rent. Sir, rent applicable for both business and personal. Applicable for both business and personal. Under 194I, there is no, sir, segregation that business rent payment or personal rent payment. 194I is applicable to both business and personal. But there is a problem in 194I. 194I is covered in hijacker. That means in order to apply the 194I, you should be a badawala. You should be a, that means for chota wala, 194I will not be applicable. That means I am an individual or HUF whose aggregate turnover, chi turnover, in the immediately preceding previous year does not exceed 1 crore or 50 lakhs as there. Even though the scope of 194I is huge, I have not fall under what? 194? I have not fall under 194I because only badawala will fall under. So, sir, for 194I, there should be a parallel section. There should be a called as 194IB. 194. So, for those guys, 194I not applicable. For those guys, 194IB will be applicable. That means for whom 194I is not applicable? Chota wala. If you are a chota wala, 194I will not be applicable. Being chota wala, நீ சோட்டா வாலான்னு சொல்லிட்டு நீ பண்ற விஷயங்கள் இருக்கே. You are paying rent more than how much rupees per month? 50,000 rupees per month. கேட்டா பேரு சோட்டா வாலா. ஆனா பண்ற விஷயங்கள் சோட்டா வாலா மாதிரி இல்ல. Hello sir. In order to trap you, we introduce what section? 194I. That means தெளிவா conceptually you understand who will not fall under 194I. 194I குள்ள யார் விழ மாட்டா? சோட்டா வாலா விழ மாட்டா. அந்த சோட்டா வாலாவை கவர் பண்றதுக்காக தான் 194IB. That means if 194I applies, 194IB will not be applicable. Because purpose is not required, man. Sir, if I am a badawala, individual or HF badawala, if I falls under 194I, no need to deduct TDS under. For me, there is no concept of 194IB at all because there is no need of that 194IB. Comfortable. Sir, payment of rent by certain what or what? Individual HF. This certain individual HF should mandatorily be what wala? Chota wala. Because chota wala will not fall under 194I. And if that chota wala makes the payment per month of 50,000 or more, and it is applicable to what only? Personal only. Personal only. For personal purpose I am making. So 194IB will be applicable if 194I is not applicable. So these are mutually exclusive sections. If 194I apply, 194IB will not be applicable. If 194I not applicable, 194IB will be applicable. Comfortable, sir? So this is person responsible for TDS deduction. Any person being specified what or what? Individual. So the section itself is applicable to chota wala. So the section is, sir, have been drafted to cover the what wala, chota wala. So what is the threshold limit, sir? Rent is less than or equal to 50,000 per month or part of the month, then I am not liable to deduct. Yes. What is the rate, sir? 5%. What is the rate, man? You tell me, what is the 194I rate? 10%. I'm talking about the land and building. Okay. The same land and building I have rendered to a what wala? Chota wala. Where chota wala is entitled to deduct TDS. At the rate of how much percent? Why, sir, 5%? Because this is a what section? Alternate section. Alternate section. What section? Sir, this is a story, sir. Very simple story, sir. There are two sections are there. 194I and 194IB. Are you all really with me? What is 194I, sir? Rent. 194I is rent. You tell me this section is applicable to, sir, all, sir, person, all assessee other than specified individual or HUF. Who's this specified individual? Chota wala. That means for chota wala 194I will not be applicable. For chota wala 194I will not be applicable means if that chota wala makes payment of monthly rent of more than how much? 50,000 is liable to deduct TDS under section 194IB. 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 So the rate of TDS under 194I is 10%. The alternate rate is how much percent? 5%. That means, my dear lovable students, we all know that HIJACR, hijacker. In that, for I, they brought what? With a percentage of how much percent? 5%. Are you really with me? Sir, if you see, what is 194J? Fees for professional or technical services. What is 194C? What is 194H? Brokerage or commission. Brokerage or commission. Repeat once again. What is 194J? Fees for professional or technical services. What is 194C? Payment to contractor or subcontractor. What is 194H? Brokerage or commission. Brokerage or commission. Sir, I'm writing like this, man. We are having three letters are there. Okay, sir. Brokerage or commission. Brokerage or payment to contractor or subcontractor. Payment to contractor or contractor. Then what? Fees for HCJ, CJH, anything you call. I don't have any problem. I don't have any problem. What word, what letter you want? JCH. Okay, fine. Berlin need JCH. So, JCH. Okay, fine. JCH. Classified into how many category? Three category. Three letters are there. Three letters are there. 194J, 194C, and 194H. 194J, 194C, and 194H. Let me ask you a question. What is the speciality of this JCH? What is the speciality of JCH? Chota wala is not covered here. Chota wala is not covered here. Right, sir? Sir, 194J is applicable to any person other than specified individual HF. So, sir, other than what wala? Chota wala. 194C is applicable to every person other than chota wala. 194H is applicable to every person other than chota wala. Are you really with me? But being a what wala, chota wala, you may do bada wala things. You are a what wala, chota wala, but you may do bada wala things. That's what 194M is all about. That's what 194M is all about. If you come to 194M, that is a parallel section. That is a what section? Parallel section. Shall we come to 194M once? Please say the page number 194M. Yes. Look at here. Sir, income from carrying out any work in pursuance of a what? Contract. 194 what? C. Income by way of commission or brokerage. That is 194. H. Then income by way of fees for professional technical services. 194. J. What was the code word? JCH. It's not JCB. JCH. Hello, sir. What is 194H? Brokerage or commission. So for 194J, 194C, and 194H, if this payment has been made by individual or HUF, other than those required to deduct TDS under 194C, 194H and 194J. That means, sir, under 194C, bada wala will cover. Under 194H, bada wala will cover. Under 194J, bada wala will cover. Correct, sir? Yes, sir. So, chota wala will not be covered in JCH. So, if those what wala, chota wala, making JCH payment, which is fees for professional technical services, payment to contractor or subcontractor, payment of brokerage or commission. Payment of brokerage or commission. Hello, sir. Yes, sir. Then, my dear lovable students, the rate of TDS is 5%. Why 5%? Alternate section. Even 194I is the alternate section for 194IB. What is the percent? 5%. If you see JCB, JCH, sir, J, then what? C, then what? J. Right, sir. For these sections, the alternate sections, how many sections alternate? 3 sections. What section? 3 sections. 3. 3P pota. That's why 194M. That's again percentage is how much percent? 5%. Sir, okay, sir, you covered 194H, 194 what? I, and 194 what? J. But, sir, for A.R. Rahman, hello, sir, there is no alternative, sir, for the time being. Let it be anyone. Manasilayo comes, sir. Let any song comes. For A.R. Rahman, till now there is no alternative. Hello, sir. Song and all very good only. I'm not saying that what Anirudh is bad. But for AR, in the act, now there is no what? Alternative. They may bring alternative sections, sir. This is the story of the hijacker. Comfortable, sir. Sir. That's what they're talking about, 194IB. So, 194IB, sir, any income by way of rent more than how much rupees? 50,000. This is 194IB is applicable to Chota Wala individual HF. Right, sir? What is the rate? Sir, from that rate only we started every story 5%. Right, sir? No requirement of what? TAN. Because you are not a business person. You are a Chota Wala. That too you make the payment of what? Personal purpose. So you don't have what? TAN. So generally for deducting TDS, what is required? TAN is required. Here TAN is not required. If PAN not available, 20% restricted to rent payable for the what month? Last month. If the landlord is not giving the PAN, deduct TDS at 20%. But that 20% of the payable or the March month or the last month rent, whichever is lower. At what time I'm supposed to deduct TDS? Don't say that at the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. You will not credit it. At the time of credit for the what month? Last month of the previous year. That means don't deduct monthly TDS and all. Deduct the entire TDS on the what month? March month. Or the last month of the tenancy. For example, in Janu itself, you are saying that bye-bye. In Janu itself, you have to deduct the TDS. Or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. For example, in April month itself, you made an advance for entire 12 months. Now, which you go. So, at that time itself, you are supposed to deduct what? TDS. So, at the time of credit of the last month, or at the time of vacancy, or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. This is the time limit in which you are supposed to what? Liable to deduct. 194 IC, let me see the joint development agreement. What agreement? For example, there is a plot is there, my dear lovable students. You are entering a contract with the Casa Grande. You are asking the Casa Grande to construct the building. Casa Grande is saying, that's super, I will construct the building for you. For that, you are getting consideration. That consideration, some part, out of 100 flats they constructed, 50 flats they are giving. That flat is, sir, other than cash. For that, TDS cannot be deducted. Correct, sir? They are paying you cash consideration also. For that cash consideration, TDS has to be deducted. So, consideration under Joint Development Agreement, shortly called as JDA, Joint Development Agreement. Any person paying to a what? Resident. Any person paying to a, let it be any person. That means Casa Grande is paying to a resident. Sir, threshold limit not applicable. Threshold limit is not applicable. There is no threshold limit. Because immovable property தாண்டி cash consideration வர்றதே பெரிய விஷயம். அதில் ஒரு என்ன வச்சாங்கன்னா threshold limit வச்சாங்கன்னா இந்த செக்ஷன்ல என்னவே அட்ராக்ட் ஆகாது. What is the rate in which you are liable to deduct TDS? Generally 10%. If PAN not available, 20%. Generally how much percent? 194 IC, let me see, 10%. Sir, if PAN not available, 20%. at the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. இது என்ன development agreement? Joint development. For to develop what you are entering into a contract. To develop what you are entering into a contract with the CASA grant. To develop the what property? Immovable property. So generally throughout the act, immovable property நாலே how much percent? 10%. 194 ஐல rent இருக்குல்ல எவ்வளவு percentage? 10%. If an assessee transfer any land, building or both for a value less than the stamp duty value and the stamp duty value exceeds 10% of the consideration. That means immovable property throughout the act how much percent? 10%. Whereas 194 IA 1%. IA மட்டும் எவ்வளவு percent? 1%. 194 LA love is absent. What is absent? That means compulsory acquisition of certain immovable property. That means you are having certain immovable property. Government is compulsory acquiring that immovable property under various schemes to develop the road and all. Any sum as compensation or enhanced compensation on compulsory acquisition of what property? You are getting original compensation. You are getting enhanced compensation. The government is supposed to deduct what? TDS under 194 LA because love is absent. Because they are compulsory acquiring, man. Any person paying to a what? Resident. Aggregate amount during the previous year does not exceed how much? The threshold limit is 2,50,000. Threshold limit is how much? Who is making the payment? Government. Generally, under the Income Tax Act, what is the basic assumption limit? 2 lakh. Up to 2,50,000, we are not liable to pay any income tax. Right, sir? Yes, sir. That means up to 2,50,000, love is there. Once the threshold limit exceeds 2,50,000, what is not there? Love is not there. So, love is absent. That is what? 194 LA. When you are supposed to deduct TDS, sir, at the time of payment. What is the rate of TDS? 10%. Why 10%? Immovable property. Because compulsory acquisition of land and building. So, immovable property nale TDS how much percentage, man? 10%. Comfortable, sir. That's it with regard to the, sir, immovable property family also comes to an. Now, interest or dividend. Sir, you tell me 193, 194, 194A and 194K. Right, sir? 193. For example, sir, have you heard about A&M classes? Yes, sir. In A&M classes is having one balance sheet. Sir, A&M classes is going to start a branch. We are going to start a branch. To start that branch, we need money. Right, sir? We are going to raise the fund by way of issuing debentures. Issuing what? We are going to issue 11% debenture. Sir, if you are having money, you tell me, will you subscribe the debenture of A&M classes? If you subscribe the debenture of A&M classes, I have to pay you what? Interest. That interest will be debited to P&L account of the A&M classes. That's an expense to the A&M classes and income to the what holder? Debenture holder. Correct, sir? So what A&M classes is supposed to do is, in order to claim that an deduction, they are supposed to deduct the next one. Sir, you are not interested to invest in the debentures of A&M classes. Will you invest in the equity share capital and preference share capital of A&M classes? Yes, sir. If that is the case, my dear lovable students, I have to give you what? Dividend. That dividend is an expenses to the A&M classes. Anyway, the dividend will not be debited to P&L account, but it will be debited to P&L appropriation account. Right? Sir, it's an income to the equity shareholders or preference shareholders, basically shareholders. Are you really with me? So what department is saying that A&M classes, when you are paying the dividend, deduct what? TDS under section 194. Coming, man. 194A, interest other than what on securities? You are saying that I am not interested to invest in the debentures of A&M classes, equity share capital of the A&M classes, preference share capital of the A&M classes. I am ready to provide you loan, whether it is secured loan or unsecured loan. Hello, sir. If you provide me loan, again I have to pay what? Interest. This is interest on debenture. This is general interest. Right, sir? It will be debited to P&L account. That is an expense to A&M classes. It's an income to the loan holder. Right, sir? So, we are supposed to deduct what? TDS under section 194A. Sir, you are saying that, sir, I don't believe A&M classes. I want to invest in mutual fund because in mutual fund, sir, only Dhoni is coming. In A&M class advertisement, Dhoni is not coming and saying that join A&M classes. But in mutual fund, he is coming and saying that, sir, mutual fund is subject to market risk. Like that and all he is saying. I love only Dhoni. So I am not interested to invest in the debentures of A&M classes, equity shares of A&M classes, preference shares of A&M classes, or giving loan to A&M classes, but I'm going to invest in the mutual fund. Either the debt-oriented mutual fund or the equity-oriented mutual fund. If you invest in that, the mutual fund has to pay you the interest or dividend to you. Are you all really with me? It's an expense to the mutual fund and it's an income to the unit holder. So mutual fund is liable to deduct TDS. So as a investor, you may either invest in debenture or you may either invest in shares or you may either invest in loans or you may either invest in mutual fund. For debenture, what is the return? Interest on debenture. For shares, what is the return? For loan, what is the return? Interest. For mutual fund, what is the return? Interest or dividend. So these are the return. Are you all really with me? If you are going out of India and if you have to come back to India. ஸோ அப்போ நீ ரிட்டர்ன் ஆகிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன காட்டிட்டு போவேன்? டாட்டா காட்டிட்டு போவேன். என்ன ஆகிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி ரிட்டர்ன். இந்த ரிட்டர்னுக்கும் அந்த ரிட்டர்னுக்கும் சம்மந்தம் இல்லை. ஆனால் ரிட்டர்ன் ஆகிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி டாட்டா காட்டுவ நீ. சார் எத்தனை பர்சன்டேஜ்? 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. தட் மீன்ஸ் ரிட்டர்னாலே 10%. ரிட்டர்னாலே அப்போ 193 இஸ் என்ன ஆன் செக்யூரிட்டி? If you pass all the 3 levels in your life, foundation, inter, final, it is a security, man. Hello, sir. That is what 193 is interest on what? Security. Any income by way of interest on securities. That means the securities invest panirka, debenture invest panirka, debt invest panirka. Any person paying to a resident, what is the threshold limit? Threshold limit 193. Adnala classified into 3. Number 1, 7.75% or 8% savings bond more than 10,000. I have the limit 10,000. Interest on debenture issued by company in more than how much? 5,000. No threshold limit in other cases. Hello, sir. At the time of payment or at the time of credit, whichever is earlier. Comfortable, sir. Sir, A, B, C, D. D stands for dividend. D stands for what? Dividend. D stands for diplomatic mission. D stands for dividend. Dividend 4வது வார்த்தை. அதனால தான் 194 கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Are you really with me? Sir, person who has made arrangement to declare dividend in India under 222A to 222E, which are deemed dividend. 222A, 222B, 222C, 222D, 222E. யார் சார் TDS பிடிக்கணும்? Principal Officer of Indian Company or company to what in India? Resident in India. Aggregate amount during previous year exceed how much rupees? 5,000 in any mode other than what? Cash. 5,000 rupees வரைக்கும் நீ என்ன பண்ண வேண்டாம். At the time of payment. At the time of payment. At the time of payment. இப்போ இது வரைக்கும் பேமெண்ட்ல யார் ஃபேமிலி? பேமெண்ட் ஃபேமிலி. 192 is payment family. 192A is payment family. 194 F is payment family. And also 194 LA, love is absent, is payment family. Right, sir? இப்போ 194 is what family? Payment family. So இப்போ payment family எத்தனை பேர்? 5 பேர். Number 1, salary family is basically a payment family. And 194 is what? Dividend is what family? Payment family. 194 LA, love is absent, is what family? Payment family. Why, sir, dividend is payment family? Because dividend will be paid only at the time of AGM. Only at the time of. Sir, every month நீ வந்து டிவிடெண்டுக்கு என்ட்ரி போட்டு இருக்க மாட்டே நீ. ஸோ அட் த டைம் ஆஃப் பேமெண்ட் ஆர் அட் த டைம் ஆஃப் கிரெடிட். அண்ட் கிரெடிட்ங்கிற கான்செப்டே கிடையாது. அப்போ எப்போ நீ பே பண்ணுறியோ அப்போ என்ன பிடிச்சா போதும்? டிடிஎஸ் பிடிச்சா போதும். கரெக்டு. ஏன்னா நீ முன்னாடியே டிவிடெண்ட் எவ்வளோ கொடுக்கலான்னு சொல்லி வச்சிருந்தா கூட நாளைக்கு அது ஏஜிஎம்ல மாறுறதுக்கு என்ன இருக்கு? வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. அதனால தான் அட் த டைம் ஆஃப் கிரெடிட்ங்கிற கான்செப்ட் இல்லை. Sir, 194 LA, love is what? Absent. Something should be absent. Yes, what is absent? At the time of credit is absent. No, sir. ஏன்னா யார் பே பண்ணுவா? பாத்தியா? இங்க விளையாடி எங்க கிட்டே வர பாத்தியா? நாங்க எப்போ பே பண்றோமோ அப்பதான் நாங்கள் டிடிஎஸ் பிடிப்போமே தவிர அட்வான்ஸால எங்களால் டிடிஎஸ் பிடிச்சி வைக்க முடியாது. பிகாஸ் பே பண்ணும்போது எங்களுக்கே தெரியும் எவ்வளோ ஒரிஜினல் காம்பன்சேஷன், எவ்வளோ என்ஹான்ஸ் காம்பன்சேஷன். 194A. Any income by way of interest other than what? Securities. Any income by way of interest other than securities. Sorry. Any income other than securities means நீ loan தர. If you give loan, the NSR company is supposed to pay interest for the loan. Any person other than specified individual chief, already I explained, paying to a what? Resident. Whether payer is banking company, cooperative society, post office, how much rupees man? 40,000. 50,000 for what citizen? Senior citizen. If the person who are paying, because bank, cooperative society, post office, these guys only majority pay the interest. What is the limit man? 40,000. But if that guy is a senior citizen, it is 50,000 because of 80 TTB. 80 TTB deduction is either the eligible income or 50,000 rupees. That's why this limit of how much rupees man? 50,000. Because don't deduct TDS up to 50,000. Because anyway in the hands of the senior citizen is going to be exempted. Deduction, chapter 6 reduction. Right man? Other cases is how much man? 5,000. Other cases is how much? So generally a return family 5,000. Rate 10%. Are you really with me? At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is what. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is what. Okay, fine. 194K. Income in respect of units of mutual fund from administrator or specified undertaking. So you have invested in the what fund? Mutual fund. Any person paying to resident from what company? Specified company. That means from the mutual fund, the resident is getting dividend. Sir, aggregate amount during the previous year does not exceed 5,000 payment paid in any mode other than what? Cash. If the payment does not exceed how much? 5,000. No need to deduct TDS. What is the rate man? 10%. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Comfortable, sir? So 4 sections are there in the return family. 193, 194, 194A and 194K. What is 193? Interest on securities. What is 194? Dividend. What is 194A? Interest other than interest on securities. And what is 194K? Income in respect of units. Shall I proceed to the next family man? Contract. TDS on contract. 194 CM will be CM for how many years? That's why the fifth family is 194 CM. C stands for contractor or what contractor? Subcontractor. M already completed. 3 விஷயங்கள். Right? Yes, sir. Sir, income covered. Sir, income for carrying out any work including supply of labor in what of a contract? Pursuance of a contract. So you are doing a contract. For that contract work, I am paying you some amount. Then, sir, TDS has to be deducted under 194C. Is 194C form part of hijacker? That means chota wala will not be covered under 194C. But there is a bada wala seeing there. Alternate section 194M. Right, sir. Who's the person responsible for deducting TDS? Any specified person paying to what contract? Specified person means இந்த உலகத்துல யாரெல்லாம் இருக்காங்களோ அவங்க எல்லாம் ஸ்பெசிஃபிக் பர்சன் தான். எங்க பாருதா சென்ட்ரல் கவர்மெண்ட், ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட், கம்பெனி, சொசைட்டி, கவர்மெண்ட் ஃபார் ஃபாரின் ஸ்டேட், லோக்கல் அத்தாரிட்டி, கோஆபரேட்டிவ் சொசைட்டி, ட்ரஸ்ட், ஃபார்ம், கார்பரேஷன், ஹவுசிங் அகாமடேஷன் அத்தாரிட்டி, யூனிவர்சிட்டி. சார் இண்டிவிஜுவல் HUFs என்ன சார் sale or turnover exceeds 50 lakhs or 1 crore. That means what wala? Bada wala. That means who which will not be covered. Chota wala will not be covered. So, who is specified person? You can write any person paying to resident contract. But in that any person who will not cover, chota wala will not cover. What is the threshold limit? Sir, single payment does not exceed 30,000. Single payment does not exceed or aggregate of payment does not exceed 1 lakh. Then you are not liable to deduct it. Single payment does not exceed 30,000 or aggregate of payment does not exceed 1 lakh. What is the rate man? Sir, individual or HF means 1%. Individual HF. The contract is yaru or yaru? Individual HF means 1%. Sir, if it is other than individual HF means 2%. How much percent? 2%. 2%. When I am supposed to at the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is 2%. Sir, for alternate section for JCH, M. Sir, income for carrying out any work in pursuance of the contract, this is covered under 194C. And income by brokerage or commission, this is covered under 194H. Sir, income by fees for professional services, 194J. Hello, sir. If you are an individual HF, other than those required deduct TDS under 194C, 194H, 194J to any resident, that means, hello, you have not fall under what? JCH. Who will not fall? Chota wala. That means you are a what wala? Chota wala. Hello, sir. Who are making 194C, 194H and 194J, then you are supposed to deduct TDS under 194. You know, my life dream is to buy a house in Chennai. This is my life dream. Hello, sir. Three sections they are talking about. What are three sections? No. We are having a code, no. JCH. 194J, 194C, and 194H. 194H. Sir, what is my life dream? To buy a house. In where? Chennai. I'm looking for places. Actually, two places I liked very much. One is boat house in Chennai. Aripuram. Boat house. Okay, fine. This is very good area. Superb area. The second place, Poyes Garden. Fantastic. Poyes Garden. That if it is nearing to Talaivar house, very nice. Fantastic. Poyes Garden. Sir, listen this example very carefully, sir. There is a person called as Gopi. He is a broker. Gopi is a broker. I am going to purchase a house in Poyes Garden. Okay. For this house, Gopi is the broker. Gopi. Gopi, sir, arranged one house which was 250 crores. Example. For this, I paid 1 crore as commission to Gopi. Hello, sir. I am a what wala? Chota wala. I purchased a house in Poyes Garden. For which 250 crores. For which who helped? Gopi helped. Hello, sir. For that, I paid 1 crore to Gopi. Hello, sir. I am supposed to deduct TDS under 194. Now the weed is ready. Where? Poyes Garden. It is my house, man. A&M house. I want the interior to be barrel level interior. When I go inside the home, it should be like a 5-star hotel, 3-star hotel, 4-star hotel, planetarium in Chennai. One room should be like zoo. Another room should be like, sir, swimming pool. Swimming pool should be there like that. That is, I want to, sir, fantastic outstanding house in Chennai. For that, I am contracting the professional. Hello, sir. Called as Arun. Called as what? Arun. Professional. What Arun is going to do? Arun is going to provide me fees for professional or what services? Technical services. He is going to draw an interior design. Is what man going to design? For that he charged 5 crore rupees. So I am a what wala. I paid fees for professional technical services for my personal purpose. I am liable to deduct TDS under 194 M. Now the sketch is ready, blueprint is ready. Which room? Which room? How it should be? I sir, consulted the contractor Nesamani. Contractor what? Nesamani. Contractor Nesamani charged 10 crore rupees from me. I am a chotawala, paid 10 crore. Hello, sir. Then what they are saying is, you are supposed to deduct TDS under 194. Total consideration does not exceed how much lakh? That is a threshold limit. Up to 50 lakh, no need to deduct TDS. Why 50 lakh? Because 50 lakhs is the threshold limit. Because this is a dash value transaction. This is a second high value transaction. 194 IA was the first high value transaction. Correct, sir? 194 M is the second high value transaction. 5%. I already told you what is the logic of 5% at the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is what. Sir, all sections are at the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Only till now we got only how many sections? 5 sections which are at the time of payment. Are you comfortable, sir? Sir, I will tell you, sir, this question is a fantastic question, sir. I will solve this question for you now. Examine whether TDS provisions will be attracted in the following case, and if so, under which section. Also specify the rate of TDS applicable in each case. Assume that all payment are made to resident. All are to resident. Mr. Ganesh, payer, he is the person who paid. an individual carrying on retail business with the turnover of 2.5 crores in the previous year 22-23. That means this guy is a watwala, badawala, badawala. Contract payment for repair of what house? Residential house. How much lakh? 5 lakh. Payment of commission to Mr. Wallish for what purpose? Business purpose. 80,000. Hello, sir. Sir, we are having section 194I. What is 194I? Rent. That cover both what and what? Business and personal. We are having 194H and 194J. These two cover only what payment? Business payment. Not covering what payment? Sir, Mr. Ganesh, an individual carrying on retail business with turnover of 2.5 crores in previous year 22-23. Yeah. Contract payment repair of what house? How much lakhs paid? No TDS under 194C is not attracted since the payment is for what purpose? So, if it is 194I, you are having this I and this I. One I is for business payment, one I is for personal payment. But the other two sections, what are the other two sections? 194, because we are having the code word of JCH. In that, sir, all the three, J is there, C is there, H is there, is applicable only for what payment? Business payment. Not applicable for personal payment. So here, contract payment 194C. Hello, sir. You made for personal payment. If it is for personal payment, my dear lovable students, what will not be applicable? 194C will not be applicable. So 194C under TDS under 194C is not attracted in the payments is for what purpose? And TDS under 194M is not attracted as the aggregate of contract payment to pay in the previous year does not exceed how much lakh. So, and the section apply avadu 194C. Yeah, apply avadu personal payment. Sir, alternate section apply avadu. Yeah, apply avadu. Next one. Payment of commission to Mr. Wallish for what purpose? Commission 194 what? டக்குன்னு சொல்லு. H personal payment or business payment? Business payment 80,000, which is more than. Yes, 194H since payment exceeds 15,000. Mr. Ganesh turnover exceeds 1 crore in previous year 22-23. Comfortable. Second scenario. Mr. Rajesh, a wholesale trader whose turnover was 95 lakhs in the previous year 20. So this guy is a chota wala. Contract payment for construction of what house made during the previous year. 20 lakhs in Jan, 15 lakhs in Feb and 20 lakhs in March. So 20 plus 15 plus 20 comes to 55 lakhs, which is more than 50 lakhs. Kandipa 194C attract avadu. Yen attract avadu? Chotawala. Sir, rendu karanathanala. Onnu chotawala angaradhanaala attract avadu. Personal purpose naala attract avadu. Clarity? Okay. Idukana alternate section na 194M. 194M attract avanumna evlo lakhs exceed avanum? Appo Mr. Rajesh, wholesaler, contract payment for reconstruction of what house? 55 lakh. Yes, 194M since aggregate of payment exceeds how much lakh? Since his turnover does not exceed, and TDS provisions under 194C are not attracted in respect of payment made in 23-24. Comfortable? Are you getting it? Mr. Satish, a salaried individual. He's a salaried person. Salaried. So he's not a businessman. Right? Payment of brokerage for buying a residential house in March. If நான் தான் சொன்ன போயஸ் கார்டன்ல வீடு வாங்கினா அதுக்கு நான் brokerage or commission கொடுத்தனா brokerage or commission 194H apply ஆகாது. ரெண்டு காரணத்தினால அப்ளை ஆகாது. ஒன்னு சார் இது சோட்டாவாலா, ரெண்டாவது personal purpose. How much lakhs? 194 எதுல விழுந்துக்கோ? Yes, 194M since the payment of 51 lakhs is made exceeds how much lakh? 15 lakhs. Sir, எதுக்குங்கிறதுனால since Mr. Satish is a salaried individual, provisions of 194H are not applicable in this case because 194H business payment மட்டும் தான் applicable. ஆனா I மட்டும் தான் business க்கு applicable, personal க்கு applicable. Concept clear? Mr. Dheeraj, a pensioner, contract payment என்ன sir made during October for reconstruction of what house? Contract payment 184C. Correct இல்லையா? Pensioner na he is a what wala? Chota walaங்கிறதுனால 194H apply ஆகாது. Personal purposeங்கிறதுனாலயும் 194H apply ஆகாது. Alternate section 194M. ஆனா அதுக்கு எவ்வளவு லாக் எக்ஸீட் ஆகணும்? ஐயடா 48 lakhs தான் இருக்கு. 194M attract ஆக வேண்டிய TDS provisions under 194C are not attracted. TDS under 194M are also not applicable. Conceptual clarity. With this 5 family comes to an end man. Number 1, TDS on salary. Number 2, TDS on brokerage or commission. Number 3, TDS on immovable property. Number 4, TDS on Interest or dividend. And the last one, yes, sir. So we are moving into the sixth family called as TDS on what income? Casual income. Sir, 194B, 194BB. 194B and 194. One more section is actually there, 194BA, called as for online winnings and gamings. 194B, winning from lottery, crossword puzzles. Lottery N. Actually, there are 5 casual incomes are there. Number 1, winning from lottery, winning from crossword puzzle, winning from card game or other games of any sort. If you are winning, getting casual income from these 4 sources, my dear lovable students, the person who are paying this income are responsible to deduct TDS under 194B. B stands for Bhagya. B stands for only people who are having Bhagya will get lottery, crossword puzzle, card game or any game of other sort. BB is Bada Bhagya. BB is what Bhagya? Bada Bhagya. That is, payer is a bookmaker or a licensed person by government for horse racing or arranging for wagering or betting in what horse? Racehorse. So income covered, my dear lovable students, is 194B and 194BB. 194B is income by way of winning from lottery, crossword puzzles, card game or any game of any other games of any sort. 194BB, BB stands for Bada Bhagya. That is, you are winning from horse races. You are winning from, actually, out of the 5 casual income, they kept horse race separately because any loss from horse races can be carried forward up to 4 assessment year. Only the loss from horse race can be carried forward. So actually the treatment of horse race under the Income Tax Act is separate. So even TDS section is also separate under 194 what? BB. So there are 2 casual income section, 194B and 194BB. Who is the person responsible for deduction of TDS, man? Any person paying to any resident. You be any person to any resident, whether it is resident or non-resident. Any person paying to any resident. Any person to any person. Bhagya, Bada Bhagya, any person to any person. Threshold limit, no TDS if winning does not exceed how much? 10,000. If the winning does not exceed 10,000, no need to deduct what? TDS. Sir, here also no TDS if the winning does not exceed 10,000. So the threshold limit for Bhagya and Bada Bhagya is 10,000. What is the rate, man? 30% TDS and 30% TDS. Because under 115BB, sir, the tax rate applicable is 30%. Because for casual income, you are liable to pay tax at the rate of 30%. That they are matching with the TDS rate. What is the time of deduction? At the time of payment and at the time of payment. There is no credit concept and all in Bhagya and Bada Bhagya. When you win the winnings, they will make the payment. At the time of making the payment, they are supposed to deduct the TDS. So my dear lovable students, here one family is forming. The family's name is called as payment family. What family? You know, what is the first payment family member? 192. What is 192? TDS on salary. What is 192A? Accumulated balance in provident fund account. What is 194A? Sorry, 194F? Repurchase of units. Actually, these 3 things are what family? Salary family. Salary family. Next, எத்தனாவது section? 4வது section. அப்போ 194. 194. What is 194? Dividend. D stands for dividend. So this is also what family? Payment family. Next one, sir, 194 LA, which is compulsory acquisition of land and building. Love is absent, something is absent. The absent is at the time of credit. So this is the next set number 2. So set number 1 is salary family. Set number 2 is dividend and compulsory acquisition of land and building. The next one, what is the next one? 194B and 194BB. Both are at the time of what one? Payment. இப்போ நமக்கு டோட்டலா எவ்வளவு செக்ஷன்ஸ் கிடைச்சிச்சு? 3 plus 2 5 plus 2. The 7 section, இன்னும் இருக்கு 9 sections இருக்கு. The 7 sections you are liable to deduct TDS at the time of payment. Shall I proceed, sir? That's it with regard to 194B and 194BB. The next family is TDS on what? Resident, non-resident. You are having 194E and what? 195. 194E and 195. Sir, if you are a non-resident sportsman or non-resident sports association, in the non-resident part, you would have discussed about 115 BBA. 115. For that 115 BBA, the tax rate is 20%. Tax rate is. That's why rate of TDS also 20%. Since the assessee is a non-resident, whenever you are deducting TDS, you are supposed to deduct TDS as increased by health and education cess at the rate of 4%. If surcharge applicable, that also has to be applied. What is the income covered? Any income covered under section 115 BBA. Income covered under section 115. Not any income covered under section 115. Under 115 BBA, cap income is covered. C stands for contribution, A stands for advertisement, and P stands for participation in any game other than 115 BB game. Right, sir? Who's the person responsible for TDS deduction? Any person making payment to non-resident sportsman, including non-resident sports association. What is the threshold limit? Since the assessee is a non-resident, there is no what limit? Threshold limit. For non-resident, there is no threshold limit. Whereas rate of TDS, since the income is taxable under 115 BBA at the concessional rate of 20%, TDS also has to be deducted at the rate of 20%. What is the time of deduction? At the time of credit or at the time of payment? Whichever is. Sir, 195 is a specific section applicable to non-resident, where you are making any interest other than 194 LB interest. LB stands for long bridge, because that interest will be taxable at a concessional rate of 5% under 115A. Sir, any interest which are covered under LC long credit, such income will be taxable at a concessional rate of 5% under 115A. And 194 LD, sir, D stands for debt rupee, sir, denominated bonds. 194 LD. So this income is going to be taxed at a concessional rate of 5%. Don't deduct TDS under 195. Because 195 is for any income other than the interest covered under 194 LB, LCN, and or any sum other than salary. Because for salary, section 192 will be applicable. 192 is applicable to two people. One is resident, and that's why the number is 192. Sir, any person paying to any non-resident, there is no threshold limit. There is no threshold limit. What is the rate of TDS? Rate in force. Rate in what? Force. At what rate that income is taxable? You have to go and check 115A. You have to go and check the respective rate. If the rate is normal rate, you have to put the normal rate. Concessional rate. That what rate in force plus health and education plus surcharge if applicable, if the income is more than how much crore? 1 crore. When you are supposed to deduct the TDS at the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. So two sections are there. Still, so many exclusive sections are there for non-resident. That TDS sections we will be discussing in the non-resident part. The others, TDS on others. 194 DA. 194. We already talked about 194D. The brother of 194D, only 194DA. நல்லா ட்ரெஸ் போட்டுட்டு வந்து இன்சூரன்ஸ் எடுத்துங்கன்னு சொன்னா அது இன்சூரன்ஸ் கமிஷன், ரைட்டா? நல்லா ட்ரெஸ் போட்டுட்டு வந்து ஆயுளை பத்தியும் பேசினா அது லைஃப் இன்சூரன்ஸ் கமிஷன். ஆர் யூ ரியலி வித் மீ? So, payment in respect of what insurance policy? That means life insurance companies will be there. People will be joining life insurance, right, sir? And that life insurance will be matured. That's what income covered. Any sum under what insurance policy? Including bonus other than exempt under 1010D. Because if the life insurance policy is covered under 1010D, the income is exempted. For an exempt income, why are you deducting TDS? Hello, sir. If the life insurance policy is not covered under 1010D, then the maturity of that policy, the insurance company is supposed to deduct TDS under 194DA. Sir, any person paying to a what? Resident. Any person paying to a resident. Generally, this any person will be what company? Insurance company. Generally, this any person will be insurance company. Threshold limit, no TDS if the aggregate payment during the previous year is less than how much lakh? 1 lakh. The sum assured itself is how much lakh? Less than 1 lakh. Don't deduct the what? TDS. Don't deduct the TDS. So there is a threshold limit. Only if the aggregate amount exceed 1 lakh, then only you are liable to deduct TDS. What is the rate? Sir, 5% of the income. 5% of the income, which is nothing but maturity proceeds minus insurance premium paid. Maturity proceeds minus insurance premium paid. Maturity proceeds minus insurance premium paid means the extra bonus you are getting. I paid 5 lakh rupees maturity, sir. I paid 5 lakh rupees of insurance premium. I got 20 lakh rupees as the policy proceeds. Then what is the gap? 15 lakh. On that 15 lakh, they'll be deducting what? TDS. What is the time? At the time of what? Payment. At the time of payment. So to our family, one more person is adding, called as 194 DA. 194 DA is at the time of what? Payment. So my dear lovable students, what is 192? TDS on salary. 192A, accumulated balance in provident fund account. 194F, repurchase of units. These are salary family are payment family. Salary family are payment family. Now we are moving into the எத்தனாவது section? அதனால 194 which is dividend. அஞ்சாவது section. என்னது? அஞ்சாவது section. லவ்வே இல்லை, புடுங்குற நீ. 194 LA, love is absent. அஞ்சாவது section. Again what family? Payment family. Hello sir. The next one, எத்தனாவது family? ஆறாவது family. ஆறாவது ஃபேமிலியை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் எல்லாருக்கும் என்ன வராதுன்னா கேஷுவல் இன்கம் வராது. ஒன்லி சார் பாக்கியா இருக்கிறவங்க மட்டும்தான் என்ன வரும். பாக்கியா இருக்கிறவங்க பார்த்து நீ ஆல் தி பெஸ்ட் காட்டு. சூப்பர்ரா வின்னிங் ஃப்ரம் லாட்டரி ஜெயிச்சிட்டா மாறா ஜெயிச்சிட்டா மாறா. 194 B and 194 BB at the time of what? Payment. Hello sir. Sir, next one 194 what? DA, which is what? Life insurance. That is the 7th section. Correct? 8th section. Basically இதை நீங்க வந்து slot number 3 எடுத்துட்டீங்கன்னா this is the 7th section. Fine. Coming to next one, 194J, fees for professional or technical services. நீங்களே சொல்லுங்க, எதுக்காக இவன் தீபாவளி அன்னைக்கு கூட நீங்க இவ்வளவு கஷ்டப்பட்டு படிக்கிறீங்க? தமிழ்நாடே தீபாவளி கொண்டாடிட்டு இருக்கும் போது இன்னைக்கு நான் டிடிஎஸ் ரிவைஸ் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு ஒத்த காலில் நிக்கிறீங்க பாத்தீங்களா? அங்க நிக்கிறீங்க நீங்க. பிகாஸ் யூ வாண்ட் டு பி எ ப்ரொஃபஷனல். நீங்க ப்ரொஃபஷனல் ஆகணும்னா ஜெயிக்கணும் ஜெயிக்கணும். அதனால தான் 194J, ஜெயிச்சாதான் என்ன ஆக முடியும்? ப்ரொஃபஷனல் ஆக முடியும். ஸோ 5 திங்ஸ். ஜெயிச்சதுக்கு அப்புறம் நீங்க 5 விஷயங்கள் நீங்க ப்ரொவைட் பண்ணலாம். ஃபீஸ் ஃபார் வாட் சர்வீசஸ்? ப்ரொஃபஷனல் சர்வீசஸ். ஆர் ராயல்டி, or fees for technical services, or non-compete fee, remuneration or fees or commission to யாருக்கு? Directors. எத்தனை இன்கம் இதுல கவர் ஆகுது? 5 இன்கம் கவர் ஆகுது. நம்பர் 1, fees for professional services, fees for technical services, royalty, non-compete fee and directors remuneration. Sir, யார் சார் பே பண்ணணும்? Person who are responsible, any person other than chotawala paying to a what? Resident. What is the threshold limit? No TDS if the aggregate amount in the previous year does not exceed 30,000 in each case. 4 case the applicable. Fees for professional services, royalty, fees for technical services or non-compete fee. That means director's fee நீங்க 10 rupees கொடுத்தா கூட TDS புடிச்சுதான் ஆகணும். Director's fees க்கு threshold limit apply. Fantastic. 5 income தனித்தனி 30,000. 5 income தனித்தனி 30,000. சார் 5மே டிஃபரண்ட் இன்கம். ஆனா 5 இன்கத்துக்கு 5 செக்ஷன்ல கவர் ஆகிறதுக்கு பதிலா இது எல்லாமே ஒரே மாதிரி இருக்கிறதுனால ஒரே செக்ஷன் கீழே வச்சுட்டாங்க. அதனால தான் ஃபீஸ் ஃபார் ப்ரொஃபஷனல் சர்வீசஸ், ஃபீஸ் ஃபார் டெக்னிக்கல் சர்வீசஸ், ராயல்டி, non-compete fee and directors remuneration. Directors, if any service provider is director and the service recipient is company is liable to pay tax under RCM. Are you really with me? Yes sir. However, if the director is providing renting of immovable property services, RCM will not be applicable, FCM will be applicable. Cycle gap. Hello sir. So fees for technical service ஆ இருந்தா எவ்வளவு percent TDS? 2%. royalty ஆ இருந்தா எவ்வளவு percent? call center ஆ இருந்தா எவ்வளவு percent? any other case னா எவ்வளவு percent? ஏன்னா டெக்னிக்கல் சர்வீசஸ், டெக்னிக்கல் டி இப்படி காட்டு பார்க்கலாம், டி இப்படி காட்டு பார்க்கலாம், 2 விரல் யூஸ் பண்ற, அதனால தான் 2%. Are you really with me? சார் ராயல்டி ஆர் எப்படி எழுதுவேன்? 2 1 இப்படிதான் ஆர் ராயல்டி போடுவேன். அதுலயே இருக்கு எத்தனை பர்சன்டேஜ்? 2%. அதனால தான் ராயல்டிக்கு எத்தனை பர்சன்ட்? 2%. சார் கால் சென்டர், டெலிஃபோன் மணி போன் அடிப்பது தெரியுதா, எவ்வளவு வருது? 2 வருது. அதனால தான் எத்தனை பர்சன்ட்? Even 1211 is also telecommunication services. There are 4 ways in which you can provide the telecommunication services. Yes sir. Either number 1 by way of fixed line. Fixed line na எங்க கம்பி கட்டி இருக்கியோ அங்க தான் place of supply. Or by way of sir mobile connection, postpaid basis, mobile connection, postpaid basis, billing address, prepaid basis 3 இடங்கள்ல இருக்கலாம். Either through selling agent or to any place to the final subscriber or electronic mode வழியா ரீசார்ஜ் பண்ணலாம். ரைட்டா? சார் நாலாவது other cases means nothing. 12(2) will be applicable. Address available, address not available. Address available ஆ இருந்தா location of the recipient. Address not available ஆ இருந்தா location of the supplier. Are you really with me? அப்போ pay call center is how much percent? 2%. All other cases it is 10%. That means fees for professional services, how much percentage? 10%. Non-compete fee, how much percentage? 10%. Director's remuneration, how much percentage? 10%. Royalty, 2%. Call center, at the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. You are supposed to deduct the TDS at the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. Comfortable, sir? Varaja, sir, the next section, 194N. என்னோட கேஷ் நான் வித்ட்ரா பண்ண போறேன். யாரோட கேஷ்? என்னோட கேஷ். அதனால தான் 194N. என்னோட கேஷ். சார், அப்ப எங்க இருந்தெல்லாம் வித்ட்ரா பண்ணுவேன்? பேங்கிங் கம்பெனில காசு போட்டு வச்சிருப்பேன். கோஆபரேட்டிவ் சொசைட்டி என்கேஜ் இன் பேங்கிங்ல காசு போட்டு வச்சிருப்பேன். போஸ்ட் ஆஃபீஸ் யூ would have deposited the money. My dear lovable students, from these three places you are going to withdraw the money. How much, man? Receipts of 1 crore during the previous year. In a particular financial year, if you are withdrawing more than 1 crore, then the bank has to deduct TDS under 194N. 194N. So who's the person responsible for deduction? Every person, being banking company, cooperative society engaged in banking, a post office, making payment, aggregating cash in excess of how much crore? During the previous year to any person from one or more account maintained by such person. Sir, what is the threshold limit, sir? Sir, the threshold limit, they said that simple threshold limit of 1 crore. This is the, sir, threshold limit you have to see. This one chart is more than enough. Rate of TDS under 194N summary. Sir, you have to check that whether the person who are withdrawing the money from the bank is a normal person or a fraud person. Normal person or a fraud person. Normal person means he is pakka filing the return of income or is not filing the return of income. Non-filer for return of income 3 immediately preceding what year? Previous years. That means for the last 3 immediately preceding previous years is not filing the return of income. My dear lovable students, if you are filer of what of income? Return of income. Sir, up to 1 crore, no need to deduct what? TDS. No need to deduct TDS. So the threshold limit applicable will be 1 crore. But in excess of 1 crore, you are supposed to deduct TDS at the rate of how much percent? 2%. இது யாரோட கேஷ்? என்னோட கேஷ். அப்ப நீ குட் பாயா இருந்தா 1 crore வரைக்கும் இருக்கிற வித்ட்ராவலுக்கு நான் என்னவே பிடிக்க மாட்டேன். நீ பேட் பாயா இருந்தா 1 crore மேல போறதுக்கு 2%. Are you really with me? In excess of 1 crore, more than 1 crore, 2% TDS will be deducted. பக்கா? இதே நான் பேட் பாயா இருந்தா you will not be able to enjoy what, man? 1 crore. If you are bad, I'm your dad. Income Tax Act is saying. So up to 20 lakhs what? No TDS. Up to 20 lakhs no TDS. More than 20 lakhs up to 1 crore, sir, TDS will be deducted at the rate of 2%. But more than 1 crore, TDS will be deducted at the rate of 5%. Sir, யாரோட கேஷ்? என்னோட கேஷ். சார், ANM கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கியா? எஸ் சார். என் எத்தனாவது லெட்டர்? அப்போ 2% தான் TDS பிடிக்க முடியும். ஏன்னா 194Nல ரெண்டாவது லெட்டர்னா 2% TDS வரும். பின் எப்படி 1% TDS வரும்? எஸ் சார். அப்போ this is the threshold limit, man. This is the threshold limit with rate. This chart itself is more than enough. You have to just check that whether the person who are going to withdraw money from the bank is a good boy or bad boy. Good boy, the threshold limit applicable will be 1 crore. Up to 1 crore, no TDS. More than 1 crore, 2%. Non-filer of return of income for 3 immediately preceding what year? Previous years. For the last 3 immediately preceding previous years, you have not filed the return of income under section 139 subsection 1. Then up to 20 lakh, no TDS. More than 20 lakh, up to 1 crore, 2% TDS. More than 1 crore, come back and read it, man. TDS has to be deducted if sum or aggregate of sum withdrawn in cash by a payer in particular financial year exceeds how much lakh? 20 lakhs is for good buy, bad buy. If no ITR has been filed for all the 3 immediately preceding previous year, or 1 crore if ITR has been filed for all or any of the 3 immediately preceding previous years. What is a rate, man? 2% of the what paid. In case assessee not filed return of income for immediately preceding 3 assessment year within the what date? Due date. Then 20 lakhs shall apply. Rate shall be more than 20 lakhs up to 1 crore in cash means? More than 1 crore in cash means? At the time of payment, at the time of payment, at the time of payment. That means next family is NSR coming. Sir, this is slot number 4 and this is slot number 5. Slot number 5 is 194N. 194N. என்னோட cash. Slot number 5. யாரோட cash? என்னோட cash. How many heads of incomes are there? 5 heads. So what is the first head of income? அதனால தான் ஸ்லாட் நம்பர் 1 ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஃபேமிலி salary family 192 192A 194F ரைட் சார். ரெண்டாவது ஃபேமிலியில் 2 பேர் பேமெண்ட் ஃபேமிலியில் சார் 194 is dividend and 194 LA is what is absent? Love is absent at the time of what? Payment. Are you really with me? Next one sir, 1 slot number what? 3 Bhagya, Bada Bhagya Slot number 3, Bhagya, எவ்வளோ percent TDS? 30% TDS. Is Bhagya good or bad? Good. சூப்பரான விஷயம். மூணாவது ஃபேமிலி 194B and 194BB. நாலாவது சார் 194DA. என்னது? லைஃப் இன்சூரன்ஸ். LIFE. லைஃப் எத்தனை வார்த்தை? நாலாவது ஃபேமிலி லைஃப் இன்சூரன்ஸ் 194DA. யாரோட கேஷ்? என்னோட கேஷ் 194N. அஞ்சாவது ஃபேமிலி. Are you all really with me? These are coming at the time of payment. Shall I proceed, man? That's it, man. Sir, I'm coming to the next one. Sir, very important section, man. 194O. Payment of certain sum by e-commerce operator to e-commerce participant. E-commerce operator to e-commerce operator. So O stands for operator to e-commerce what? Participant. O stands for operator. Income covered, received by way of online sale of what or what? That means basically they are talking about e-commerce operator. 9555 they are talking about. Hello, sir. They are talking about the equalization levy. Hello, sir. Under equalization levy, that person is liable to deduct TDS under NO 194O. They are saying that action plan number 1, that is you have to particularly take care of the challenges in the what economy? Digital economy. That's what equalization levy is all about. Everything is covered under 194O. அது பெரிய ஓட்டையா இருக்க கூடாது. Right, sir. So received by way of online sale of what or what? Goods or services. So there is a e-commerce operator. Sir, understand very clearly. Sir, there is a e-commerce operator and there is a supplier of goods or services or both. And there is a recipient. Sir, we only know one e-commerce operator called as A to Z, called as Amazon. A to Z, Amazon. Right, sir? What is happening? What is happening? What is the transaction? E-commerce operator facilitating sale of what or what or what? E-commerce participant through its digital or electronic facility or platform by whatever name called. So there is a e-commerce participant. E-commerce what? Basically, நம்மளை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் supplier of what or what or what? He is supplying his goods or service or both through the e-commerce operator. E-commerce, if that is a specified services which is happier services, then the e-commerce operator is a person liable to pay tax under eco charge, not RCM. Yes, sir. Hello. In that HAPR, happier. H stands for housekeeping services. A stands for accommodation services. P stands for passenger transportation services other than omnibus. If the omnibus is owned by the company, then RCM. Other than company, it is ECM. Yes, sir. And R stands for restaurant, eating joints. Other than 7,500 limit will be applicable. Yes, sir. Okay, fine. Come back. Sir, in case of supplier of goods or service or both, if he is supplying goods or service or both through the e-commerce operator, this guy is called as e-commerce participant. This guy is called as e-commerce. Threshold limit, man. No TDS if the e-commerce participant is what or what? If this guy is individual or HUF. Individual or, and gross amount of sales does not exceed how much lakh? 5 lakh. For this guy, the gross amount does not exceed 5 lakh. Condition number 2. And such e-commerce participant has furnished PAN or Aadhaar to the what? Sir, dash or dash PAN or Aadhaar has been submitted to the ECO. My dear lovable students, if the assessee is what or what? Individual or HUF. If he is supplying through an e-commerce operator, and if the total sales does not exceed 5 lakh, and he has submitted the PAN or Aadhaar number, 194 TDS will not be applicable. That means what they are trying to say is, in case of an individual or HUF, even if the sales is 5 lakh, maximum his net profit will be 5 lakh. That is not possible, practically possible in accounts. I am saying the worst scenario. I am selling goods or service or both for how much lakh? 5 lakh. What is my maximum net profit? 5 lakh. Then the PGP income will be how much lakh? 5 lakh. Up to 5 lakh you can claim rebate under 87A. That means in India up to what, man? Under the old scheme, now under the default tax regime it is 7 lakh. It is 7 lakh. But under the optional tax regime, up to how much lakh rupees? 5 lakh rupees, there is no tax. That's why they are saying that this is applicable only to individual or HUF. So if the e-commerce participant is individual or HUF, hello sir, if they are supplying goods or service or both through the e-commerce platform and the sale does not exceed how much lakh? 5 lakh. And if he is submitting the PAN or Aadhaar number, then no need to deduct TDS. Sir, what is the rate, man? 1%. How much percent? But 5% if the recipient does not have what? PAN. If that guy has not given the PAN, sir, this provision is not applicable to, sir, individual or HUF. But other than individual HUF who are supplying goods or service or both, the e-commerce operator is liable to deduct TDS at the rate of 1%. How much percent? How much percent? 1%. But if that guy is not giving PAN, instead of 20% under 200 AA, we will be deducting TDS only at the rate of 5%. Comfortable, sir? Yes, sir. What is the time of deduction? At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is what? Earlier. This analysis is very brilliant analysis, sir. Eco. Who's Eco? Amazon. A to Z. Sir, Eco can be a resident? Yes, sir. That Eco can be situated in India. Okay. Sir, e-commerce participant can be a resident? Yes, sir. Can purchaser, the person who are purchasing can be a resident? Yes, sir. Sir, Eco can be a non-resident? Yes, sir. Sir, in America, you may have the e-commerce operator that Amazon may situate in America. But the person who are supplying through what should not be a what resident. That means the e-commerce participant should be a resident. E-commerce participant should be a, if the e-commerce participant is a what resident? Non-resident, my dear lovable students, then the income will be deemed to occur a resident in India, or in India, then the SEP rules and all you have to see. SEP, significant economic presence, up to 2 crore rupees sale, 3 lakh subscribers, all those provisions will be applicable. That's why, sir, that Eco may be a resident or non-resident. We don't mind. That Eco may be a resident or non-resident. But the e-commerce participant should mandatorily be a, that purchaser may be resident or non-resident. So this guy, which guy, e-commerce participant, supplier should be a, should not be a, this Eco may be a, or a recipient may be a, or a, fantastic to the course, sir. Coming to the next one. So what is the rate of TDS under 194O? 1%. So we are having 194P, P stands for pension, P stands for, and 194Q, Q stands for quantity, Q stands for 194P, pension. For example, what this section 194P is trying in the Income Tax Act, I will tell you, man. Suppose you are a specified senior citizen. You are a, not normal senior citizen. Normal senior citizen means 60 years only. But your age is 75 years. You are specified senior citizen. Okay. Sir, you have retired from your job. You are having only what income? Pension income. And that pension income is crediting to a particular bank account. Particular. And you are putting FD in that bank account. And you are getting pension income plus interest on what? FD. Only this is what you are getting. Then what Income Tax Act is saying that this guy specified what citizen? Senior citizen. No need to file the what of income. Let the bank itself deduct some amount as what? TDS under 194P is what the discussion is all about. Hello, sir. So, what is the income covered? Any income. Who is the person responsible? Specified bank paying to specified what citizen? So, the bank should be specified bank. Person should be specified senior citizen. What is the threshold limit? Why basic exemption limit, you know, my dear lovable students? Because otherwise itself till basic exemption limit, that guy is not liable to pay the tax. What is the rate of TDS? Rate in force. You know what is rate in force, which is nothing but the tax payable divided by what income? Total income into 100. That means whatever amount is supposed to be paid as tax, that amount they have to deduct it as what? TDS. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is what? Earlier. So question arises, sir, what is specified what citizen? Senior citizen. Specified senior citizen means is age of how much or more? 75 years or more. It's not 60 years. Your age is 75 years or more. He's having pension income. That's why 194P. And no other income other than interest income in such bank. I'm having only two income. One is pension income, and whatever pension I'm getting, I'm putting that bank in FD. From that FD, I'm getting some interest. Has furnished declaration to specified bank in form number 12, DBA, and evidence relating to what 6A reduction. I am entitled for this chapter 6A reduction. Sir, you taken the interest income and also the pension income. Pension income will be taxable under income from salary, and interest income will be taxable under IFRS. If you add, sir, you'll be getting the gross total income, because I'm not supposed to have any other income. And against that income, these are the chapter 6A reduction I'm having. I'm not interested to travel through the default tax regime. I'm interested to travel through the optional tax regime. I get out of the what? Default tax regime. Please reduce the chapter 6A reduction and find out the what payable. Tax payable. You will get the what payable? Tax payable. That tax amount you deduct is what? Under section 194. Hello. That's it with regard to 194P. 194Q, a very, very important section for examination, man. 194Q. because Q stands for quantity. There are two people are there. One is purchaser and other is seller. Purchaser and if you are purchasing the quantity from a seller, so there are two parties are there. One is seller is there, another is purchaser is there. Sir, from the seller you are purchasing. You are what? Purchasing some quantity, high value transaction. What value transaction? So purchase of any goods or value of aggregate of such value exceeds how much lakh? 50 lakhs. Why 50 lakh? High value transaction. 50 lakhs, one section we told is 194 IA 50 lakhs. 194 M high value transaction 50 lakhs. And 194 Q again how much lakh? 50 lakhs. Comfortable, sir? Yes, sir. Buyer whose turnover exceeds how much crore during the previous year? 10 crore during the previous year. Buyer paid to a seller what? Resident. Any sum to any resident seller for purchase of any goods of the value or aggregate of such value exceeds how much lakh? That means there are two characters are there. Clearly understand the two characters. One person is seller and other person is what? Buyer. There are two characters are there. One person is seller and other person is what? Buyer. The seller, sir, is selling goods to the what? Buyer. First, let me ask you a question. Who has to pay the consideration? Buyer has to pay the consideration. Buyer has to pay the consideration to the what? Seller. Right, sir? So, my dear lovable students, when he making the payment to the what? Seller, he has to deduct what? TDS under section 194O. See, 194Q. 194Q. Correct, sir? Q stands for what? Quantity. In order to attract 194Q, sir, certain condition has to be satisfied. This buyer, is this guy going to deduct TDS? Is this guy going to deduct TDS? Yes, sir. In order to attract TDS in the hands of the what? Buyer, condition number one. Buyer whose turnover exceed 10 crore during the previous years. That means in the immediately preceding previous years, buyer's turnover should be more than how much crore? 10 crore. That means in the last immediately preceding previous year, buyer turnover should be more than 10 crore. If your turnover is less than what? 10 crore, you are chota wala. Again, chota wala concept is coming. But here chota wala is not based upon 44 AB. Chota wala is based upon turnover. Turnover of how much crore? 10 crore. 10 crores. Sir, let me explain. Quickly get it. Sir, even this 10 crore is also 44 AB limit only. Because up to 1 crore, no 44 AB limit. More than 1 crore, up to 10 crore. More than 10 crore. That means if the turnover exceeds more than how much crore? 10 crore, mandatory tax audit under 44 AB. But more than 1 crore up to 10 crore, there is a proviso under the gap if the 5% concept will be applicable. Are you able to appreciate? That's why this 10 crore limit is coming. Even this 10 crore is also. So in the immediately preceding previous year, buyer is not a chota wala. Buyer is a bada wala. Yeppo. Last year. Sir, you know, last year I am a Kodiswaran. Sir, this year, where you are sleeping? Railway station. So this year also you should be what wala? Bada wala. What they are saying is paying to a what resident? Seller resident. How much you are paying? Any sum to any resident seller for purchase of any goods of the value or aggregate of such value exceeds how much lakh? 50 lakhs in any previous year. That means a purchase value should be more than how much lakh? 50 lakhs. That means who is going to deduct TDS? Quickly say. Buyer. Buyer's turnover in the immediately preceding previous year should exceed 10 crore, point number one. And the buyer should purchase the goods value more than 50 lakhs during the. That means this seller should be a resident. Seller should be a. This is another condition you should satisfy. This is another condition you should satisfy. First question. Is the buyer's turnover in the immediately preceding previous year exceed 10 crore? Is the purchase value during the current previous year exceed 50 lakhs? Is the seller is a resident? Then this buyer is liable to deduct what? TDS under section 194Q. 194Q. That's what? 0.1%. How much percent? Because this is a high value transaction, we don't want to levy much tax rate. So we'll be levying only 0.1%. 0.1%. 0.1%. You picturize this. Quickly picturize this. There is two parties are there, seller and the buyer. Seller sold goods to whom? Buyer. Buyer have to make the consideration to the whom? Seller. Right, sir? If, sir, you have to ask question. Q stands for question. Q stands for quantity. Ask first question. Is the buyer's turnover in the immediately preceding previous year exceed 10 crore? Yes, sir. Is the purchase value exceeds 50 lakh? Yes, sir. Is the seller is a resident? Yes, sir. Then the buyer is liable to deduct TDS under section 194Q at the rate of that 0.1 percentage in excess of 50 lakh. That 0.1 percentage in excess of 50 lakhs. 0.1 percentage in excess of 50 lakhs. In excess of 50 lakhs. Comfortable, sir. Sir, I will tell you, who should be badawala? Buyer. If seller is a badawala, if seller is a, that means if seller immediately preceding previous year turnover exceeds how much crore? 10 crore. Are you all really with me? And he sold goods, not purchased goods. He what? Sold goods more than how much lakh? Then TCS will be applicable. TCS will be as per section 206C subsection 1H. As per 206C subsection 1H. Why H? Because it's a high value transaction. That's why 206C subsection 1H. Hello. Sir, TDS TCS or TCS TDS? TDS TCS. Supply includes all forms of supply, goods or service or both. First good should come. Then only what? Like that, first TDS should come. First you have to study TDS. Then only you should study what? TCS. Correct? So once TCS applicable, sir, TDS applicable, TCS will not be applicable. ஒரு டிரான்சாக்ஷனுக்கு என்ன அப்ளை ஆச்சுன்னா TDS அப்ளை ஆச்சுன்னா TCS அப்ளை ஆக வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is what? Sir, the provisions of 194Q, adana 194Q shall not apply to a transaction on which the tax is deductible under any of the provisions of this act. This act na வேற ஏதாவது செக்ஷன்ல TDS புடிச்சாச்சுன்னா நீங்க வந்து என்ன தேவையில்லை. 194Q apply, then provisions of 206C 1H will not apply. In case 194Q என்னாச்சுன்னா apply ஆச்சுன்னா, அதாவது TDS apply ஆச்சுன்னா TCS apply ஆவாது. Are you all really with me? This is what the section 194Q, 194R. Requests. If you see section 28, 28 is a charging section. 28 clause 4 அப்படின்னு ஒரு செக்ஷன் இருக்கு. clause அதுல any gift, perquisite or any bonus are received on account of the business or profession should be taxable under PGBP ன்னு இருக்கு. ஓகேவா? இப்போ for example I will tell you, man, there is a doctor. That doctor is doing operations. Okay? Operation successful, patient dead. இப்படிதான் ஜெனரலா கேட்டிருக்கோம். ஆனா இங்க டிஃபரெண்ட். Operation successful, patient also what? லைவ், சர்வைவ்டு. உனக்கு ரொம்ப தேவைப்பட்டவங்க நீ என்ன பண்ணிட்டேன்னா கையில் இருக்கிற சார் 5 கோடி ராலெக்ஸ் வாட்சை கழட்டி டாக்டர் கொடுத்துட்டேன். தேவா. Because that guy saved the most favorite person. Because between you and that person you are having MFN clause. Most favorite nation clause. So because of that you gave the Rolex watch. Now that 5 crore rupees should be declared by that doctor as income from business or profession. யாரு காட்ட? காசா கொடுத்தாலே காட்ட மாட்டேங்கிறேன். இதுல வந்து கைண்டா கொடுக்கிறது வேற. So what government said that if you are going to debit that watch in your P&L account as business expenditure, you are supposed to deduct TDS under 194. இது எங்க நடக்கும்னா தீபாவளி இருக்குன்னு பாரு, தீபாவளி சேல் நடந்துட்டு இருக்கும் பாரு. அப்போ இந்த அந்த காலம் அது 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 வசந்தக்கோ காலம், இந்த வசந்தக்கோ என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா டீலருக்கு நிறைய ஆஃபர் கொடுப்பாங்க. அந்த டீலர் அந்த ஆஃபர் என்ன பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா மீட் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா சார் அவங்களுக்கு காயின்ஸ் வாங்கி கொடுப்பாங்க, கோல்டு காயின், ட்ரிப்புக்கு அனுப்புவாங்க, 10 நாள் வந்து லிஷர் ட்ரிப்பு, க்ரூஸ் கொடுப்பாங்க, இந்த மாதிரிலாம் கொடுப்பாங்க. Are you all really with me? Yes, sir. So this will be debited to what account? P&L account. In order to claim that as a business expenditure, you are supposed to deduct TDS under 194R. ஒரு எஸ் அது போடு. அதப்போ என்ன சொல்லுவாங்கன்னா தீபாவளிக்கு 1000 குக்கர் வித்தா உங்களுக்கு என்ன கிடைக்கும்? டிஸ்கவுண்ட், ட்ரிப்பு, கோல்டு காயின் இதெல்லாம் கிடைக்கும்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. சம் டீலர்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா எங்களுக்கு என்ன வேண்டா, கோல்டு காயின் வேண்டா, என்ன வேண்டா, ட்ரிப்பு வேண்டா, வேற என்ன வேண்டா, எங்களுக்கு என்ன பண்ணுங்கன்னா பிரைஸ்ல அட்ஜஸ்ட் பண்ணி கொடுங்கன்னு கேட்பாங்க. அப்ப நீ என்ன செக் பண்ணா 3 கண்டிஷன் சாட்டிஸ்ஃபை ஆயிருக்கான்னு பார்க்கணும். If it is already as per agreement ஆன்னு பார்க்கணும். If it is already mentioned in the invoice ஆன்னு பார்க்கணும். Proportionate ITC has been reversed ஆன்னு பார்க்கணும். If this 3 condition has been என்ன ஆச்சுனா satisfy ஆச்சுனா discount can be reduced as per 15 subsection 3. Otherwise என்ன பண்ண முடியாதுன்னா எக்ஸ்க்ளூட் பண்ண முடியாது. ஆர் யூ ஆல் ரியலி வித் மீ? வா. Income covered. Any benefit of perquisite arising from what or what? Doctor is getting a watch because of business or profession. Person responsible for TDS deduction, any person, not being specified what or what. Because hijacker. Correct. Up to 20,000 in a what year? Previous year. 20,000 rupees வரைக்கும் என்ன கொடுக்க வேண்டாம்? TDS பிடிக்க வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை. ஸோ த்ரெஷோல்ட் லிமிட் ஆஃப் 20,000 rupees வரைக்கும் நீ கிஃப்ட் கொடுக்கலாம் ஆளுக்கு. 20,000 மேலே போகிறதா இருந்தா TDS. எத்தனை பர்சன்ட் TDS? 10% TDS. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is earlier. At the time of credit or at the time of payment, whichever is. Sir, summary. Sir, TDS to be deducted at the time of making payment. A payment family irka liya. I left first family. Salary family. 192, 192A, 194F. Second family la rendu per irukanga liya. நாலாவது section 194 and 194 LA. 194 is dividend and 194 LA is payment on composition on acquisition of certain immovable property. Third family, super on family. Third family, Bhagya. Bada Bhagya. 194B and 194BB. Right? Next one, fourth family, Valke. LIFE, life. 194 what? DA. அஞ்சாவது family, sir, 194 N. என்னோட. That's it. Sir, 192 business purpose க்கு மட்டும் TDS பிடிச்சா போதும். எல்லாமே business purpose. ஆனா 194I, what purpose? What purpose? Business purpose and 194IA, sir, 194I attract ஆனா 194IA என்ன ஆகாது? அட்ராக்ட் ஆகாது. கரெக்டா? I attract ஆனா IB attract ஆக வேண்டிய அவசியம் இல்லை. கரெக்டாப்பா? So, this I category immovable property எல்லாமே business and what purpose? இது எல்லாமே business purpose. 194M business purpose கா இருந்தாலும் சரி, personal purpose கா இருந்தாலும் சரி, E5DA and all business and personal purpose. 194N business and what purpose? Personal purpose. மிச்ச எல்லாமே business purpose. Comfortable, sir? These are the section reference of TDS and its rate and a quick revision from the TDS. I'm comfortable, sir.